as you make your points moves over the next year or so, there are certain opportune times in which to make certain moves. And that is what we are going to cover in today's video. Number 1, if you would like to ask somebody for a guest of honor certificate or a suite upgrade certificate with Hyatt, do this at the end of February. In case you're not aware, you don't need to be globalist to get globalist benefits. You just need to have globalist friends, because your globalist friends will oftentimes earn a bunch of guest of honor certificates or suite upgrade certificates with Hyatt that they can gift to other people, like you. And so as globalists earn these throughout the year, we can't roll them over forever. They're going to expire the February 28th after we earn them. So if you would like to go around asking people for globalist upgrade certificates, if you can plan your trip at the end of February, so many people are going to have expiring certificates and we just give them out for free at that point. However, if you are traveling in March or April, you are going to be very hard-pressed to find somebody who is giving out a guest of honor certificate, because at that point, most people have just started re-earning their certificates and they're applying it to their friends and family travel first. So, if you want to ask strangers for a nice favor and get those certificates, try to book a nice Hyatt stay around February 14th to 28th, and your chances of getting a certificate will be a lot higher. Number 2, if you are going to be staying at a lot of Marriott hotels, especially in lower cost areas like Southeast Asia or Latin America, try to schedule those trips for March or April. And that's because historically, Marriott has launched a fantastic double elite nights promo that always seems to hit around end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter. And the only stays that count for double elite nights, if you want to fast track your Marriott status, are paid cash stays. So last year, we stayed in Hong Kong and Vietnam and booked a whole bunch of cheap Marriott hotels because they're very affordable in that part of the world. And I was able to fast track to titanium status without much effort at all. If you have a lot of end of Q1, beginning of Q2 travel, see if you can shift those over to Marriott hotels and you'll be able to fast track your way to status by a lot. Tip number 3. Let's say that you're not able to get Marriott status for upgrades and you're not able to get any guest of honor certificates or earn guest of honor for yourself. What could you possibly do instead? Well, you could just email the hotel and ask nicely. And this works much more often than you would expect, even if you don't have status with the hotel chain. If you're not sure what to write or when to write, we have a free template included in our free Points 101 course. You can download the entire course at geobreezetravel.com/free course. And in that course, you will also find my hotel upgrade email template that hundreds or probably thousands of people on the internet have used by now. And they've gotten suite upgrades, champagne, strawberries, cake, lots of amenities for when they're staying at different hotels, even if they don't have status. And as far as timing goes, all the directions are in that template, but I would send the email 7 to 10 days before you check into the hotel. And that brings us to tip number 4, because if you have something like a Venture X card or an Amex Platinum card or Business Platinum card, you have access to the Capital One Travel Portal collection and also Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. The Capital One Venture X comes with a $300 credit that you can use through the Capital One portal, and the Amex Platinum card comes with a $200 credit that you can use for Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. And when you book through these portals, number 1, you get to use your credits, which helps to justify the annual fee on some of these very expensive cards. But you also get stuff like upgrades upon availability, late checkout, complimentary breakfast, and a $100 food and beverage credit, depending on the hotel. Now, as far as timing using this goes, I would try to plan out how are you going to use all of these different credits right at the beginning of the year. It resets on January 1st, so on January 1st, I'm like, okay, where am I traveling to where I could possibly use my Fine Hotels and Resorts credit or Capital One Venture X credit? And if you're not familiar with the website maxfhr.com, you can just type in the city that you're traveling to, and it will show you the cheapest hotels where you can use your Amex FHR credit, and that can save you a lot of money. Because, for example, Sydney, Australia is much cheaper for this than I expected. You can stay at the Four Seasons Sydney sometimes for about $200, which means with your Fine Hotels and Resorts credit, it's like a free night at the Four Seasons. P.S. I would also, on January 1st, try to plan out how you're going to use any free night certificates that come with any cards. This could be your Category 1 through 4 certificate with your World of Hyatt personal card. It could be your IHG certificate, where you can get a free hotel night under 40,000 points that you can get with the IHG rewards card. If you have the Hilton Aspire card, figure out when you're going to use your free weekend night. If you have any of the Marriott cards, figure out when you're going to use those free night certificates. Really, any of the certificates, make those plans on January 1st for the coming year. And that's because I would very much recommend prioritizing using your free night certificates before your points. Even if the cents per point isn't as good, those free night certificates expire and you can't roll them over from year to year. Whereas with points, they generally don't expire as long as you have regular activity in and out of your account. All right, now let's talk about flights. You've probably heard of tip number 5, which is if you're going to plan out some award flights, see if you can do it 10 to 11 months in advance of when you're actually going to travel. This is especially important if you are booking for a lot of people, like a family of 3 or 4 or more. And that's because a lot of the award availability is released 10 to 11 months out before the flight date, and once those seats are sold, you're probably not going to find more award space until the very last minute. If you need help with finding award availability for a particular flight because you're new to the world of points, you can request a free personalized tutorial by going to geobreezetravel.com/award search. As a follow-up to tip number 5, tip number 6 is sometimes you want to book stuff last minute. This is especially true for different airlines, like if you want to fly on Lufthansa first class, they don't usually make it available to partner airlines like Air Canada until about 3 days before the flight. So this is for anybody who wants to take a last-minute trip, or if you want to book a backup flight that's completely refundable, you can go ahead and book that flight home or over to Germany, and then 3 days before your flight, see if you can get Lufthansa first class instead. Another example of a last-minute upgrade is if you can't find enough award space with Emirates first class, you can go ahead and book business class and then upgrade last minute. And the way this works is Emirates has a chart for how many points it would take to upgrade from business up to first class. What you need to do is arrive at the airport 3 or 4 hours in advance, ask the check-in desk if there is availability to upgrade, and they'll let you know how many points it will cost. Most of the time, for the fifth freedom flights between the US and Europe, it should take about 30,000 points per person one way. The downside to this, though, is if you're transferring Amex points or some other points over to Emirates on the spot and they don't post fast enough, then suddenly you're just in business class like you booked originally, and eventually 2 days later you're going to have some points stuck in your Emirates account that you need to figure out what to do with. This has happened to me. There's lots of podcast stories about how I tried to upgrade from business to first class on my Milan to JFK Emirates flight and did not succeed. Tip number 7 is another timing thing when it comes to redeeming your points. By far, the best transfer bonuses in the industry are with Bilt rewards, where sometimes you can see 100% bonuses, 150%. I think we've seen up to 200% bonuses sometimes, and that can really stretch the value of your points. But the downside is that these only happen on rent day, which would be the first of the month. And it's not the first of every month. And you usually don't know what airline it's going to be until a few days before rent day. So, how do you take advantage of this? This one takes a little bit of prep and a little bit of research. So for example, let's say that you want to familiarize yourself with a lot of the Virgin Atlantic sweet spots. I would go ahead and do a lot of practice runs and practice searches before you ever see a transfer bonus. That way, you're familiar with the mechanics of how Virgin Atlantic works, how to find the award space, you already have an account created so that you can easily book these flights when they become available, and then wait and see if Bilt Rewards launches a Virgin Atlantic transfer bonus, which they've done a couple times already in the past. We've also seen huge transfer bonuses with Air Canada, Emirates, Hilton, IHG, Air France KLM Flying Blue, and a few other airlines as well. So if you want to look through the Bilt transfer partners and start doing practice searches with those airline transfer partners so that you're ready to jump on any rent day rewards, that is a great way to prepare to maximize your points and miles. And speaking of maximizing your points and miles, if you're interested in joining us for a free live training on how to make your points go even further, come join us at geobreezetravel.com/webinar. We don't record these free live trainings. I just host them a couple times a year for anybody who's able to join us live. So if you miss it, you miss out. But I hope you don't miss out and that we see you there. Once again, you can sign up at geobreezetravel.com/webinar. All right, tip number 8. It's almost tax season, and there are strategies for when you should pay your taxes on different cards. Like, let's say that you want to go for American Airlines status, where you need to earn 200,000 points in 12 months in order to reach Executive Platinum status, which is the highest status with American Airlines, excluding their invite-only concierge key. Well, how are you going to earn 200,000 points? The nice thing about American Airlines is it's pretty straightforward. If you have the co-branded credit card, each dollar that you spend on that card earns you a loyalty point. Now, you don't need to go spend $200,000 on taxes. I really hope your tax bill is not that large. But if you want to put a lot of your tax bill on an American Airlines card to help with status, I do not recommend doing this until after March 1st. The calendar year for earning status with American Airlines goes from March 1st to February 28th. Most people think that they have to earn these points between January 1st and December 31st, but if you accidentally pay your tax bill too early in January and the points post in February, that's going to impact your loyalty points for the prior year. Now, you don't have to worry about this timing for this year because we're already into March, so go ahead and pay your tax bill on your American Airlines card if you want to. But when we're into 2026, if you're still trying to earn status with American Airlines for 2025, make sure your loyalty points hit before the end of February 2026. Or if you're already good for this calendar year and you want a head start on earning loyalty points for the 2026 calendar year, hold off on charging any big bills to your American Airlines credit card until after March 1st, 2026. Now, another popular card where you can put your expenses to earn status is the World of Hyatt card, especially the World of Hyatt business card, where every $10,000 that you put on the card gets you 5 elite nights with Hyatt, but their calendar year is a little bit different. You would think that it's the same as American Airlines, given that at the beginning of this video, we were saying that those guest of honor certificates expire February 28th, but that is not the case. The Hyatt calendar year for earning your points for status goes from January 1st to December 31st. Let's say that you are really close to meeting status for 2025. If you just need to put some expenses on your Hyatt card to push you over the line, make sure that those points post before December 31st, 2025. Alternatively, if you're all set with Explorist or Globalist or whatever Hyatt status you're going for in 2025 in December, see if you can hold off on making those large charges to your credit card until early 2026. Then you'll get a head start on earning status for the 2026 calendar year. And the last tip that I'm going to cover about timing your different credit card moves and points moves today has to do with Southwest Companion Pass. Now, we cover this every fall, but it is not too late if you want to go for Companion Pass. If you're new to the world of points and miles and you didn't know about Companion Pass, I'd much rather that you go for Companion Pass now in March or April or whenever you're seeing this video, and that you earn Companion Pass for the rest of 2025 and all of 2026. A lot of people mess up the timing where the 135,000 points required to get Companion Pass posts in November or December because they jumped the gun and they're ready to earn it for the following year. Make sure you don't do that. If you want to absolutely maximize Companion Pass, then you can wait until the end of 2025, maybe open a couple of Southwest credit cards in November or December. Don't start spending on them until January if you want to be completely safe, and then have the points post as fast as possible in January 2026. That way, if you hit the 135,000 points then, you'll have Companion Pass for, let's say, February through December of 2026, plus all of 2027. Compare that with if you messed up the timing. Let's say that you accidentally met your sign-up bonuses too early and that the points posted in December 2025. Then you only get Companion Pass for December 2025, plus all of 2026. So that's about a 10-month difference of getting buy one, get one free flights with Southwest, which is huge. Also, if you super mess up the timing and you get 2 credit cards and one of the sign-up bonuses posts in December and the other one posts in January, you're just out of luck because you didn't technically earn 135,000 points in any given calendar year. You split it between 2 calendar years. So avoid that timing. All right, that's all I've got for you today on 10 tips for how to time your points moves. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you have any other rules of thumb for how to time your points moves as well. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy this video next.